Hello and greetings from the Kearney Math Show. Thank you all for tuning in to today's episode. Today we're going to be featuring simple interest on the Kearney Math Show. So before we begin, if you would take just a moment and go ahead and write at the top of your mini lesson, this is entry number 8. So at the top of your mini lesson, write entry 8 and then go ahead and read your learning goal. So I'm just going to go ahead and write on top of mine, entry number 8. And our learning goal is that by the end of today, you should be able to explain to someone, if they weren't in class today, how to solve these simple interest problems. And yet again, guys, I'm going to keep saying this. This unit is so incredibly important. Percents are everywhere. And especially today. Today is super mega important. How many of you think that you might want to buy a house one day? How many of you think that you might want to buy a car one day? How many of you think that you would like to put money in a bank account one day? If you answered yes to any of those questions, or how many of you think you want to go to college one day? Okay, if you answered yes to any of those questions, then today's lesson is going to be super important to you. We're going to be talking about something called simple interest. So first of all, let's just talk about interest. Interest is the amount of money that you earn on top of money. For example, if you decide you want to buy a house or buy a car or go to college and you don't have the money at that exact time to pay for the house. Let's say you want to buy a house, you don't have the money right now, you have a little bit of money, but you don't have all of it. So usually, what do? That's right, you go to the bank and you ask to take out a loan. Okay, so you say, can I please borrow some money from you? And the bank says, sure, you can borrow money from us, but here's the catch. You have to pay us back the money that you borrowed, plus you have to pay us interest. So interest is, they put this certain interest rate on it. And they say you have to pay a certain percentage every year until you paid it all back. So when you end up paying them back, you end up paying the money that you borrowed plus some extra interest. Same thing when you want to buy a car, or maybe when you decide to go to college and you don't have the money to pay. Sometimes people have to take out things called student loans. That means that you're going to be loaned the money in order to go to college, but you're going to pay it back plus the interest. In that same respect, on the opposite end of that, sometimes you decide that you have money and you want to put it in a savings account in the bank. And when you put money in a savings account in the bank, it starts earning interest. So if you're not taking the money out and the longer it sits there, it just keeps earning more and more money. So 5 years later, when you check your bank account, you have more money than you started with because it's been earning interest. So for all of these problems today, we're going to be using a super important formula to find simple interest. And then we're going to be using another formula to find the balance. So to solve for interest, what we're going to do is we're going to use the formula I equals PRT. I equals PRT. Let me hear you say it. I equals PRT. I equals PRT. What we're doing is that I stands for interest. Okay, so let's go through what each of those means. So I is interest. This is right. Oh, sorry, wrong one. I stands for interest. That's the amount of money that's charged for borrowing money or given when investing money. That's that interest that you're either earning or paying back when you either put money in a bank account or you borrow money. Okay, P, which stands for principal. And when I say principal, I'm not meaning Mr. Rockland or Mr. Payton or Mr. Lewis. I'm meaning the principal of your money is the initial amount. It's that original amount. So I'm going to put beside this the original amount. So let's say that you put $30,000 in the bank account. That's the original amount. So I is the interest that you earn. P is the original amount. R, the interest rate. That's the percentage that your money is earning or you're having to pay back. So interest rate, so R is the interest rate. It's the percentage of the balance that an account or investment earns in a fixed period of time. So that's that percentage. Okay, so I equals, we're going to do P times R times T. And T is exactly what it sounds like. It is time. But the super mega important thing here is that time is measured in years. So sometimes today you're going to be given problems that are given that you have months, and you're going to have to convert that to years. For example, if you had 6 months, that would be 6 months out of 12 months, which is half of a year. Okay, and one other thing that I want you to underline is that this interest rate right here, this is super important right here. Let's start this. When you're given an interest rate, in order to do this formula, you're going to need to change it to a decimal, okay? So literally, when you read the problem, you're going to be pulling out those 3 things, the I, the P, the R, and the T, and you're going to be substituting them into this formula, where we're going to take the original amount, the principal, and we're going to be multiplying it by the interest rate and then times the time, and that will find the interest, okay? Now, if the problem asks you to find the balance, okay, this is kind of like the final total. For example, if you borrowed $10,000 from the bank, you're going to pay them back the $10,000 plus the interest. So to find your final balance, you're going to take the original amount, which is the principal, and then add it to the interest that you're having to pay or to earn, okay? Now, I know Ms. Kearney just did a lot of talking, but these problems are actually pretty mega easy, okay? So let's do a practice problem so you can see just how easy these are. So whenever you get to a problem, and like we're going to do the first one together, and you see that word interest, when you see that something's earning interest, I want you to automatically go ahead and write your formula. I equals P times R times T. I know that this is an interest problem, so it's rang a bell, okay? It says, so I'm on number 1. How much interest will you make on $700 if the rate is 2.4% and you save for 2 years? What will the total balance of your account be after the 2-year period? Okay, so just to kind of sum up what the problem is saying, it's saying you've put $700 in a bank account. After 2 years, when it earns interest, how much money will you make? Okay, so let's do our WTK because that's still super important. WTK, and for this one, it says how much interest and then what will the total balance be. So we're looking for 2 things, the interest and the total balance. Okay, so we can't stop until we find those 2 things. So let's go back to the problem. It says how much interest. So we're looking for the I. We don't know the I, so we're going to put I equals if you make on $700. So 700 was my original amount, so that's my P. So I'm going to put that where the P is, 700 times, and then it says that the rate, so P times R. So my rate is 2.4%, but remember, so my rate is 2.4%, but remember it says change it to a decimal. So I'm going to put, and a lot of you are saying, but Ms. Kearney, that's already a decimal. Well, it's 2.4%. That means it's still a percent. It's out of 100. So we have to move that decimal 2 places to the left to get rid of. So 0.024. If I move my decimal 2 places over, it's 0.024. And then P times R times T, and T is my time in years, so times 2, okay? And then you're literally just going to plug that in the calculator. 700 times 0.024 times 2, and I get that my account, the interest is 33.6, which if it's money, it's got to have 2 decimal places, so I'm going to add a 0. So $33.60 is my interest. Okay, but remember our WTK asked us to also find the total balance. So that means that I originally had $700 and now I have an extra $33.60 that I've earned in interest. So to find the total, what do you think you're going to do with those 2 numbers? That's right, you're going to add them. So 700 plus the $33.60 would be $733.60. Okay, so to wrap up what we just did, we read the problem and we pulled out the I equals P times R times T. So we pulled out what was our original amount times the rate, and remember rate, you always have to change to a decimal, times t, which is the years, okay? And that solves for the interest. And then if you want to know the total, we had to add it to the original amount, okay? So what I want you to do right now is I want you to, if you didn't understand that problem, I'd like for you to go back and watch that same example again. And then I want you to go down to number 2, which is the next problem. And it's going to ask you basically the same thing. It's saying you borrowed some money. How much are you going to have to pay the people back? That means you're going to have to pay them back the original amount plus the interest. So go through and see if you can figure out how to do the next problem. And when you come to me, this is what I want you to bring. I want you to bring one thing you've learned and one question you still have. And we're going to check the practice that you try to do. If you get done with the practice before it's time to come to me, then go check the answer key. Okay, so do your very best. If you have questions, just try your best. If you need to go back and watch the video, feel free to do that too. Okay, good luck, guys. Super proud of the hard work and how far you guys have come. You guys are really showing that grit every single day. And today is the day for you just to focus, and you can do it. Okay, make me proud. Peace out, Rainbow Trout. Love you, mean it. XOXO.